and penalties as part of what he wants to do if he's elected. On the other side of it, we haven't heard much from Harris when it comes to her immigration plan, other than she would try and resurrect that border security bill that was torpedoed right now. Listen, we have talked to voters. They want facts, they want policy, they want strategy. John?
And look, Trump's been taking a hard line on this issue for a long time, but an even harder line this time than when he first ran.
Yeah, he is vowing mass deportations, and in a recent interview, he suggested that he would even use the National Guard and even the military to target. We're talking about 15 million to 20 million people, possibly. The last government estimate was 11 million migrants, which he hasn't necessarily explained exactly how this would be carried out, but it is one of the campaign promises that he makes over and over again at every single rally, John.
And Kamala Harris defending her record. She's not the border czar. They call her the border czar.
Yeah,
but
and she knows tonight that she has to make clear to voters really what her role was here. She was not the border czar. She was never tasked with border security, as Trump has argued. She was put in charge of addressing the root causes of immigration. But it is certainly safe to say that they know this is a vulnerability for her. She is braced for those attacks to come tonight.
Okay, another key issue, crime and safety, of course, top issue in the election. Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas has been tracking this for us. Pierre, joining us from D.C. Donald Trump has been slamming Democrats and Kamala Harris over the issue of violent crime, saying that it is way on the rise. What is the reality here?
John, here are the facts. Crime, particularly violent crime and gun violence, rose dramatically in Trump's final year in office. That increase continued in the first year of the Biden administration, but for the past 2 years, we've seen significant decreases, sometimes double-digit decreases in violent crime. Murder so far this year is down 17% in the nation's biggest cities. But no one's jumping for joy because gun violence is a chronic epidemic in this nation. And they're always flashing symbols that are painful reminders. And in just the past 7 days alone, we had a 14-year-old boy walk into a Georgia high school and allegedly kill 2 classmates and 2 teachers using an assault rifle. As we speak, there's a desperate manhunt in Kentucky to find the sniper who was shooting at people driving along a busy highway. These are all impacts on the way people actually feel, John.
Yeah, whatever the global stats are, people are concerned about crime. Martha?
And, of course, another key issue, abortion, Mary. And Kamala Harris looks at this as a very strong issue for the Democrats.
She has been out in front on this issue and hammering Donald Trump on this, blaming him, pointing the finger squarely at him, saying he's to blame for the tough new abortion restrictions sweeping the country. We have seen over and over again that she notes that he has bragged about appointing the Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe. She knows that polling shows this is a winning issue for her. And, of course, that every time that abortion access has been on the ballot since Roe was overturned, reproductive rights have won. They see this as an issue that they hope will drive voters to the polls in November, especially as Donald Trump has been really struggling to define his position.
And he really has struggled to define that position. He takes credit for helping to overturn Roe v. Wade, but otherwise not very specific.
He has been all over the map on this issue, but when you look at his record and what he has done, he has appointed 3 of the 5 Supreme Court justices that overturned Roe versus Wade. That cleared the way for 22 states to either ban or severely restrict access to abortion. But Trump has also said, even though he believes this should be a states issue, he believes some states have gone too far. He thinks the 6-week abortion ban in Florida, for instance, his home state, has gone too far. He didn't like that abortion ban that almost went into effect in Arizona. This is important for 2 reasons. As Mary mentioned, it's going to be on the ballot in a number of states, including several battleground states. And this issue has won every single time, even in conservative states. Second reason why this is important, Donald Trump is losing ground when it comes to likely female voters against Vice President Kamala Harris.
And a very, very important demographic. Coming up, both candidates hoping to make their case to voters in this critical debate, now less than 38 minutes away.
Welcome to Battelle Electronics, your premier partner for turnkey printed circuit board assembly. We utilize the latest in automated assembly and inspection technology and have industry-leading capabilities to ensure a flawless fabrication.
Skyscanner saves us so much money on rental cars.
We can ride more cars like these!
Here's to good mornings in America.
Can you feel the love? Oh, yeah.
Mornings that inspire, filled with hope, kindness, joyous surprises, and so much fun.
This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy.
Start your day with Good Morning America's ray of sunshine, highlighting the best of America and helping
Make dreams come true. Wow. I'm just so happy. It's so good.
get ready to smile and put the good into your morning, America, because
You know what will make the morning better? A little ray of sunshine.
And welcome back. You are taking a live look right now at the spin room here in Philadelphia. Surrogates for each campaign will head there right after the debate, and more than 1,000 journalists will be there too. They are here covering the big night. The Latino vote will be influential this November. Latinos are now the second largest voting bloc in the country, with more than 36 million who will be able to vote in 2024. So let's bring in Maria Elena Salinas, who is in Miami for us. Maria, you have covered 10 elections. We know both campaigns trying to appeal to Latino voters in this final stretch.
Exactly. They are both trying very hard to get the Latino vote because it's so important, including in the battleground states. As of now, Kamala Harris is doing better than President Trump with Latino voters. You know, there are still 10 to 15% of Latinos that are considered persuadable, so they still can be convinced by either one. But there's about 30%, between 25 and 30% of Latinos that have traditionally voted Republican. They continue to do so, no matter who the candidate is. President Trump did improve those numbers in the last two elections, but Kamala Harris has also improved her numbers tremendously from Biden, from when before he dropped out of the race, but she still has not reached the amount of support that he had in 2020. So there's an opportunity for both Biden and for both Trump and Harris to capture the Latino vote.
Yeah, Harris is doing a lot better than President Biden was with this very key demographic. We were just talking about immigration, Maria. What about the views on immigration when it comes to these voters?
Well, for Latino voters, the views on immigration have shifted than they were in the last few elections. You know, now they support a more stricter laws, a more hardline approach toward immigration. And that is because usually the Democrats promised immigration reform, and Latinos were attracted to that promise, but that promise never materialized. Now they feel that the recent arrivals hurts not only their image, but they feel that it is unfair that they are getting paroled. Many of them are getting work permits, while there are still millions of undocumented people here living in this country that are either married to U.S. citizens or have children that are U.S. born, that have been waiting for decades, also the dreamers. And that's the one thing that I think that they need to take into consideration. One thing that might hurt President Trump is the mass deportations. Latinos are not in favor of mass deportations. Rachel?
Maria Elena Salinas, we so appreciate your time and your insights. Thank you so much for joining us. John?
All right, we are less than 30 minutes away from the first debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. When we come back, the global stakes in this most extraordinary moment.
living in a science fiction movie.
We just saw what no one has seen before.
Wow, look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Well, dead ahead! Hang on!
We are heading into the unknown.
Hammer, hammer, hammer.
It doesn't get any more cutting edge than this.
Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, Shohei Ohtani, legends of the game. But now the list of greats redefined. From ABC News, Reclaim the Forgotten League, a side of the story of baseball you have never heard before like this. The award-winning podcast is back. Listen wherever you get your podcasts or scan the QR codes you see here.
ABC News, honored for excellence with 40 Emmy nominations. Mornings, evenings, late night, weekends, streaming 24/7. 40 Emmy nominations. Thank you for making ABC News America's #1 news. You're watching America's #1 streaming news. Live reporting, breaking new exclusives. Keep streaming with ABC News Live.
Back now in Philadelphia, about 28 minutes until the debate begins, a debate the whole world is watching because the decisions the next president makes will have a profound effect on America's role in the world, from Ukraine to Russia and, of course, Israel. So let's start there with our Matt Gutman, who has spent months covering the conflict in the Middle East. And, Matt, I know this debate is being watched very closely there.
Very closely, Martha, and a former longtime advisor for Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu told me that he's going to be watching very closely for what former President Trump has to say about Iran. He said for Netanyahu, both Harris and Trump are known quantities, but the advisor telling me that for Netanyahu, a Trump presidency would be a dream come true, especially because of the mounting scrutiny that Netanyahu has been under, increasing allegations that he's been dragging his feet on this hostage deal and ceasefire, mounting even further after the release of that video showing the tunnel in which those 6 hostages were executed, including American Hirsch Goldberg Pollen, not just a couple of hours ago. And if you ask Israelis and Palestinians what they're looking for from Vice President Harris, they're likely to say they want to know what she has to offer that is different from what the Biden administration has been doing the past several months. Despite massive efforts, they've promised that a deal is around the corner, but it remains elusive. And it's going to be a lot easier of a sell for the former president, who's never faced a crisis like this, but he's likely going to say and repeat what he said in the past, that if he were president, October 7th would never have happened. If he were president, he would have been able to have strong-armed Hamas and Netanyahu into a ceasefire and hostage deal that would have saved the lives of many Palestinians and, of course, those hostages, Martha.
A lot of challenges about that tonight, for sure, Matt. Thanks so much. Ukraine also at the center of this. Let's bring in Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent Ian Pannell, who is in Ukraine. Closely watched there as well, Ian.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I spoke to an advisor to the president's office today, and he used one simple word: critical. It's critical what happens tonight. It's critical what happens in November, not just to Ukraine, but I think this sends strong signals to other critical areas in terms of foreign policy for the United States, for example, China. And this war is just grinding on. I mean, overnight, Ukraine launching one of its biggest drone attacks on Russia since the start of this war. 20 drones were shot down the Moscow region, over 140 fired into Russia. An apartment block hit, a woman killed, and one of Moscow's airports was also struck. What we've seen is Ukraine repeatedly trying to target Russia in an attempt to try and bring the war home to the Kremlin and to the Russian people. And this is partly because they've been given restrictions on the weapons that have been supplied by the United States and others. And what Ukraine is hoping is that those restrictions are going to be lifted. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is going to come here to Kyiv this week. Speaking in London, he confirmed that Iran has now transferred ballistic missiles to Russia. He's expecting that those are going to be used in the coming weeks. He describes this also as a critical moment for Ukraine. So all eyes are going to be on tonight's presidential debate. Even apparently President Zelensky expected to tune in. And the outcome, I think, of this presidential debate is going to be critical to the outcome of Ukraine's defense against Russia's invasion. Martha?
Okay. Thanks so much, Ian. And Ian and I have both spent a great deal of time in Afghanistan, John, as you know, and that will be a key issue tonight. tonight, former President Trump has been slamming the Biden-Harris administration for that disastrous withdrawal, the way it was done in Afghanistan.
Hey, look, let's say it bluntly. It was a dark moment for the Biden campaign, for the Biden presidency. It might be the darkest moment of his presidency. In fact, the Republicans have now given the Congressional Medal of Honor, not the Medal of Honor. They announced
Medal of Freedom, Congressional Medal of Freedom. Yes.
You know, to the 13 service members who died at Abbey Gate in Afghanistan. And one thing, if you look at that moment, so that withdrawal from Afghanistan happened in August of 2021. The other thing that happened in August of 2021 was that Joe Biden became an unpopular president. His popularity, his favorability ratings went below 50%. They never came back.
But Joe Biden was also at the time saying this would not be like Saigon. We all saw those images of that. It's hard to play